In the early part of 2018, I believe. No, early part of 2019. There was a floor speech that Chuck Schumer gave. And he said some things that might otherwise have sounded very cryptic if one did not know that at that time, the New York Transitional Finance Authority, the New York Water Authority, was in the process of issuing a $450 million water bond. Now, I attempted to contact them, the authority, to let them know that they needed to do something about some events that were going on that I identified as securities fraud. I also contacted the mayor of Chicago because he was connected to these acts of insurance fraud. I had seen something a while ago, about a little over a year prior, and I had attempted to move on it. See, when I used to work for the Department of Public Health, part of my role in compliance was to check the certifications and verify the certifications for people that were supposed to be eligible for billing, Medicare, and other insurance for treatment specifically of mental health issues, which also means that they may be certified or licensed to prescribe medication up to and including psychotropic medication, and depending upon what else was going on, other kinds of medication that might be considered dangerous drugs, right? And to this day, nobody's ever responded. Well, apparently, the anniversary of the NPI number I was issued is tomorrow, September 13th of 2013. And right now, there is a URL that's active that has a code. It's coded to the metric 450. It features three testimonies, the text from three testimonies in a particular kind of code associated with the website that published it. You take the taxonomy of me as a specialist and telemedicate using a triangulation strategy associated with a former piece of journalism I worked on that's been embedded with various kind of metrics. You know what you get? You get somebody that made a good faith effort to report on serious crimes. You get public information that was published, weaponized, and it's been used for years. I know it! No one will respond. The people who published it, they don't respond. The people that allow for the misrepresentation that I have an active national provider identifier number, they don't respond. The FBI doesn't respond. The DOJ doesn't respond. The police sure as hell don't respond. Not one goddamn fucking lawyer in the entire fucking country responds. The embassies of foreign countries don't respond. You guys have allowed for electronic weapons to be created with my efforts as a journalist, and you've allowed them to be coded to fucking water bonds. Water bonds that you like to put some sort of Jewish profile on, and then you want to blame Palestinians. This has gone on long enough. I never approved of you taking any of my journalistic efforts and weaponizing them, and by the way, mischaracterizing the people I used to work with. It's securities fraud. And not only is it securities fraud, it's securities fraud responsible for acts of terrorism. I know it. I've been trying to get you to address it for years. You need to remove that information about that MPI number. It should have already been removed years ago. There's no reason. We are in, allegedly, some sort of health pandemic. You've refused to take off information misrepresenting that I have active credentials as somebody that is available for compliance connected to public health. I haven't gotten one phone call. I haven't gotten one email. That's because this is not about public health. This is not a health pandemic. It's a terrorist attack. And you have no right to defame other people and turn their actual work efforts and their actual history and their actual contributions to society, as well as demonstrations of political leadership, and try to use it in some bioweapons paradigm that you refuse to even acknowledge. I'm acknowledging that specific combination is a weapon. It's not one I would use, but it's one somebody else has been using for a substantial amount of time. Who are you that feels that you are licensed or that you are eligible to steal other people's lives, misrepresent them, back in code electronic records associated with them, and then murder people with it? On the other hand, you should have responded when you understood that I had also submitted a writing sample that spoke about prosecutorial misconduct that hasn't been followed up on since at least 2003. You have outstanding obligations you should already have attended to. You shouldn't be going around wielding weapons you won't even acknowledge.